Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, in this session, we are going to continue our discussion on the second topic that we will cover in our class. So basically, in our previous class, we have already discussed about risk and risk mitigation, which include the discussion related to the concept of risk, why we need to mitigate risk, and also the risk mitigation measures. Inshallah, in this session, we are going to discuss about risk management in Takaful. So basically, the concept of risk management has been discussed and deliberated by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala in the Quran. If we read a verse from Surah Yusuf, ayat number 67, Yusuf said, "For 7 years shall you diligently sow as is your wont, and the harvest that you reap you shall leave them in the ear, except a little of which you shall eat. Then will come after that period 7 dreadful years, which will devour what you shall have laid by in advance for them, except a little which you shall have specially guarded." So in this verse, Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala have directs our intention to the subject of risk management. This can be seen from the advice given by the Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam to his sons on their trip to Egypt to find Yusuf. Another one of his sons indicates the attempt to reduce and manage risk while recognizing that everything that happened in the will of Allah. This point is further pressed home in the following two verses, if you can read, in the Surah Yusuf, ayat 47 and 48, which I have read earlier, that indicate the active process of assessing risk and managing it appropriately, while at the same time trying to understand that in the end, it is the will of Allah which will prevail. Yeah, if we can see from the ayah, the Prophet Yusuf mentioned that you need to, for the 7 years after harvesting the crops, so you keep some portion of the crops that already being harvested, so that it would help to ensure that the country have sufficient supply of foods for the 7 dreadful years. Yeah. For the first seven diligent or we said a good years, so you have to plan it properly in order to prepare for the next 7 years, which are dreadful years, whereby musim kemarau pada 7 tahun seterusnya. Jadi in that case it is difficult to grow crops during the dreadful years. So that's why the previous 7 years the harvested crops for the previous 7 years will help to mitigate the problem related to food supply in the following 7 dreadful years. So various practices of risk management had existed since ancient times, but modern concepts of management were introduced in 1916 by Henry Fayol, a French industrialist and management theorist, who considered security activities, known as risk management, as one of the 6 broad functions which are essential in any industrial undertaking. So if we see previously, the issue of risk management have not been discussed in a comprehensive and a broad functions until the modern concept have been introduced by the person by name Henry Fayol, who is a French industrialist. He mentioned that in his book, he mentioned that the object of security activity is to safeguard property and persons against theft, fire, and flood, to ward off strikes and felonies, and broadly all social disturbances or natural disturbances liable to endanger the progress and even the life of business. So here we can see previously the concept of risk management have been termed as or have been coined using the terms security activities. Yeah, the term security activities. So security activities is referring to the activity where a company should safeguard the property, the persons against theft, fire, and flood, against strikes, yeah, and any broadly social disturbances or natural disturbances, for example, um, um, any natural disaster, for example, which would endanger giving difficulties for the progress of a company. So from here, we learn that there is an importance of loss control and loss prevention in any industrial setting that involves varieties of management functions. Yeah. So in any businesses, industrial activities, management of social activities, social securities, security activities is very important, um, which covers all aspects of activities that might delay the progress of a company. So this is the security activities. Yeah? So after a while, it has been progressive, and later on, the term risk management uh, come into the picture and being developed by these scholars. So that is some introduction on the issue of risk management, from where it is actually derived from the term security activities. Yeah, but the objective or the target of having the security activities is so that um, the company or a person could safeguard their property from any disturbances or any potential risk issues which could hinder the or endanger the progress of the company. Next, we look into the evolution and development of risk management. The concept of present-day risk management was crystallized by Wayne Snyder. I think we have already come across the name Wayne Snyder previously in our previous lecture. So, Professor Wayne Snyder, in one of his talks, he addressed that an organization needs to develop to focus not only on insurance but also on security in areas such as loss prevention, loss prevention, industrial safety, and employee benefits. So since then, the modern concept of risk management was born. In addition to looking into the issue of issue of insurance, yeah, giving people insurance, or taking insurance. um, the concept of risk management should be um, discussed in a larger perspective or in a bigger perspective, which are more comprehensive. So according to Professor Wayne Snyder, so this includes the issue of how do we prevent losses from occurring, and it also includes the overall industrial safety. Yeah, so that's why we look the issue of health and safety is also one of the important things within the overall risk management of a company. And also the issue of employee benefits. Yeah, employee benefits. What are the benefits which are offered by the company to its employee? So from there, the modern concept of risk management was born. Later, the concept of risk management was formulated as a senior management activities. So, previously, maybe the concept of risk management has not been given emphasized by the management, but later on, the concept of risk management has been included as one of the senior management activities, which need to be given emphasized by all the senior management. In one article written by Gallagher in 1956, he outlined the major principles involving cost control that can be applied in a risk management program. Subsequently, a transition from insurance management to risk management evolved in the 1960s and 1970 through educational programs both in the US and Europe. So this is the time when the business enterprise they paid little attention to the issue of risk handling, but today they have come to realize the importance of risk management and its economic impact. Yeah? So afterwards, in many countries, we can see that most of the countries have appreciated and applied the concept of risk management, but it have not yet reached to its fully potential. And also the differences or distinction between insurance and risk management has yet to be fully understood and realized by the community at large. Yeah? So this is very true. If we see the importance of insurance and how risk management is very important in the community, especially in Malaysia, it's still, I think I can say that it is still very limited uh, application and understanding. So that's why we can see previously a video viral where a lorry have uh, accident uh, accidentally um, dia melanggar beberapa buah kereta yang sedang parking di Putrajaya di Putrajaya. So if everybody is understand and if everybody understand the concept of risk management, so everybody will have awareness that if he park his car in some road which are very narrow and it is not actually a place to park a car there, so he should be aware that there is a risk that somebody maybe will involve in accident when he park his car at narrow places. So this is one of an example related to the awareness, showing that awareness of uh, public at all in Malaysia is still at a very low low level. So when come at um, of course the car owner mentioned that there is no parking places there, but if he giving um, uh, some we can call some thinking, some thinking on the effect and also and the benefit, benefit of having a parking at a place which are good for them, but maybe in a different, in contrast to that, they are also having exposure on a potential involving in an accident or a crash by another vehicle owner. So that is the things that he should give emphasis. And insurance buying, if you can see, insurance buying is still the order of the day, even though in many instances the purchases of insurance were done on a haphazard basis, with considerable overlapping on one hand and with wide open gaps in coverage of important exposures on the other. So um, we have already discussed the definition of risk management previously, where we see that there are various definitions of risk management in the literature, and but we can see that in all definition given by the previous literature, the concern is on managing sorry the concern is on managing risk and dealing with risk which would possibly lead to accidental losses, uh, and minimize the potential occurrence of loss. And another scholars mentioned that risk management can be referred as an economic process of allocating a firm's financial resources through the optimal combination of loss control and loss financing methods to minimize the cost of pure risk. So, in conclusion or in a summary, we can say that the risk management mechanisms can be viewed as a process that identifies, measures, and provides mitigation measures, namely loss control and loss financing methods, to treat the risk faced by an organization. Yeah. So there are few key important words here. You can see that the risk management, the important keywords is the process of identifying risk, the process of measuring risk, and provide mitigation measures. How do we mitigate the risk that we have already identified? So these things can be further elaborated in keywords we call as loss control and loss financing method. So this loss control and loss financing method the purpose is to treat the risk facing by the organization, so that the potential loss can be minimized or mitigated. In other words, to handle risk using the risk management approach, we will consider all the methods available, including the Takaful and also insurance. Yeah. So if we were to compare risk management with Takaful and insurance management, we will see that Takaful insurance is simply a subset of risk management, because Takaful or insurance is one of the available options in risk management. Yeah. So previously we already have touched this one in general. We see that the Takaful or insurance is one of the risk financing method that is available in the market. So that's why the Takaful and insurance is simply a subset of the broad risk management activities. Yeah. So we have another things which are important in risk management, including the Takaful and insurance activities. For historical reasons, risk management has had strong relations with insurance management, but this does not infer that they could be equated. Over the years, especially after the 1990s, risk management has developed into an integrated approach. Yeah. So only recently, like 30 years, the risk management has developed into an integrated approach which are more comprehensive, more interrelated. The integrated approach is enterprise risk management. So enterprise risk management handling not only pure risk but also speculative risk. Yeah. So previously we discussed things related to pure risk, but nowadays in the modern risk management or enterprise risk management, we see a new terms coined as speculative risk. Yeah. The term financial risk management is frequently used by banks and other financial institutions when managing exposure to risk. Yeah. So in addition to normal industries, the concept of risk management is also being used by financial institutions such as bank. Yeah, so they use the term financial risk management because bank are an institution which are exposed to many type of risk, such as the credit risk where they give financing to others, market risk, yeah, involving trading, and then operational risk, strategic risk, and also legal risk. The emergence of enterprise risk management has seen the consolidation of the management of the different types of risk that exist within an organization. Yeah. So because there are many type of risk which has been identified, so there is separate specific entities or specific departments were assigned to manage this kind of risk. There's the responsibility of risk managers of organizations that advocates the concept of a total risk portfolio management are expanded. So we can see all these different type of risks have been managed by a focus team. Especially if in bank, we can see that there is one specific department, which is risk management department, which will manage the overall risk exposures of the bank. So under the risk management department, they will have different section. Call it as credit risk management section, market risk market risk management section. Then they have, like, I think, operational risk management section. So all these section being monitored by a single person, which will head the risk management department. So that's why it is mentioned here that the overall risk has been managed under a single framework. However, So that is this all related to the risk management in the evaluation and development of risk management. We can see initially the concept of risk management have been discussed by the previous literature as only a process of security activities, security activities, where the activities is the purpose or the objective of security activities is to safeguard the property or a person from any endangered progress and in daily activities or in their daily life. So and then we see that the development and evaluation of risk management previously, which only focus on a very narrow concept, but later on the concept has been evolved into risk management activities which have the concept of um, the more comprehensive risk management activities, which will include um, insurance and Takaful as one of the risk management activities. So Takaful insurance mentioned that it is not the only risk management tools, but it is only a subset to the risk management tools. We have another risk management tools which have touched in general in our previous lecture, and then we also touch about here in the previous discussion here. We talk about the how risk management developed as an integrated approach where it has been managed under a single framework. It is not segregated anymore, but has been managed in a single integrated framework, whereby there will be one department who oversee the overall management of risk within a company. So this is quite important, so that the approach or activities taken for risk management is comprehensive and cover every aspects of the business activities. So that's all for the first part of the lecture. We will continue afterwards. Thank you very much.